Managers here, we can begin. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Before we begin the meeting, can I ask everyone who's in attendance to please rise as we start off with a prayer? Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for once again an incredible evening in Canyon Lake, Lord. We are so blessed to be here, Lord. Please be with everyone, our first responders, Lord, and all that they do. Be with our entire team today, and let us enjoy this process, Lord, and in your name, amen. Please remain standing. We are going to do call to order, and then we're going to do the flag salute. So, Madam Clerk, can we do a call to order real quick?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo. Here. Councilmember Stieber.
Here.
Councilmember Terry.
Here.
Councilmember Welty.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Perfect. Mr. Terry, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I didn't announce the time, but it was 5:32, Madam Clerk. Thank you. All right, closed session report.
Thank you, Mayor. Before reporting out of closed session, I just wanted to make a clarification for the record. The descriptions of items 1 and 2 inadvertently contain some minor clerical errors. The agenda was already sufficient, but I just wanted to identify those so we can have a clear and accurate record. So item 1, which reads conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, should read initiation of litigation. And item 2, which reads anticipated litigation, initiation of litigation, should actually read sufficient exposure to litigation. And with that, I'm going to give the closed session report out. So as to item 1, council gave direction by consensus. Item 2, direction was also given by consensus. And item 3, there is no reportable action. Thank you.
Thank you. I got it. All right, moving on. City Council comments, reports. I think we're going to have Dale. You're going to kick us off, right?
Yeah. Do we have this up on the screen, or is this on paper? We have it up on the screen. Okay, everyone. This is I attended the SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments meeting, and in it they came out and discussed some economic projections that have changed significantly. And this is to a fair degree for the rest of my council staff, but I think even for the California Association of Governments basically pays economists to come out and make these reports. So the first slide we're going to look at is population projections. And originally in 2020, they had projected that in 2050, we'd be having about 22 million people in the Southern California regions. It's kind of from Ventura south. So they anticipated almost 23 million people, and that's quite an increase. Okay, in 2024, they changed that projection, and we're back to the prior slide. They changed the projection to 20 million. So it's a lesser increase. The most recent projections are based on the area will go flat. So we projections are as good as they are today. I'm just telling you, it could change next week, could change next month. But in my mind, I was never thinking we couldn't grow out of a problem in this region. We could always add more people, more houses, and it was always going to be growth that really was the inspiration for Southern California, as it has been probably for the last 100 years. But it may be that day may be coming to an end. In 5 years, we may bring this slide back up and see if this is real or not. But I just want to make the council and the members of the community aware of what the projections are and that the world may be changing. So we can go to the next slide. Now, the next one is household projections. So in other words, how many people make households? In today's world, we're probably talking about 3 people in a household. You got mom, dad, retired with no kids, and you got mom, dad with 2 kids. So there's kind of a balance right here of how many households. So as you can see that over time, the projection for how many households were going to come to California also reduced. But also, if you remember the last chart where the population was flat, well, how are we getting more households if the population is going to be flat? Well, the answer is the size of the households reducing. We have more retired people. People are having less children, which is really, we'll talk about at the end, which is the crux of the real driver here. So understanding there'll still need to be houses, but the number of people in those households will be significantly reduced from what we have today. That's the projection. Again, let's talk in 5 years to see how accurate it is. But even in Canyon Lake, as we look around, my children are having less children than my grandparents for sure, less children than me for sure. So this is the trend we're going. Next slide. Employment projection. As you can see there, the early anticipated projections were that we were going to keep increasing our employment numbers. And the latest projection, which is the purple, is that the employment numbers are not going to rise significantly. Again, the idea we cannot grow out of our current situation seems to be part of the projection. So there's a couple of trends that are happening. One, the immigration. We no longer have the large amount of immigration to Southern California we had years past. That's one of the ideas. And the other one is more people are going to retire, and AI is going to make a change in the workforce. There's an idea, I like Elon Musk. In Elon Musk's world, Aaron could run 2 cities by himself in 20 years. You'll come to a meeting, it'll be Aaron and no one else. But I don't think that's realistic. But we are going to see some efficiencies built in, and we're going to see some shifts in workforce. So it's just going to be a different world. So that's employment projections. So where's our growth going to be in employment? Healthcare and social assistance, by far the largest. That's just to help our elderly people and our people to stay healthy and social. So we're not producing any widgets with that. We're basically just sustaining our population, which isn't the best news. I'm going to go down to the bottom, which is manufacturing, and that's where we're going to lose most of the jobs. So again, the world's changing. You just want everybody to have a picture of that. Okay, next slide. Median age. Again, we're talking early projections of where the median age was going to be in 2050 would be 40 years old. We'd be a bunch of 40-year-olds on average. The new projection takes us to 46-year-old. So our population is aging, which means more retired people, more medical care. Therefore, the healthcare industries are going to grow. It is GDP and it is jobs, but it's not like they're not wealth-generating jobs. Staying alive is a big thing, don't get me wrong.
Are you telling me at 46 I get to retire?
No, at 56 you're halfway
Oh, okay.
retirement, so you're going to
Got
only
it.
have to work till you're 92.
Got it. Thank you.
So let's go on to the next one, which is household size. As you can see with the projections and where we're at, in 2020 we were somewhere around 3 people per household. The projection is in 2050 it'll be 2.5 people per household. So again, I remember having kids. We had 3 kids. We had a couple of foreign exchange students and a friend living with us. So we were stuffing at the rims. And now I got 1 kid in college. Everybody else has moved out. So we have a house that can handle 7 people, and we have 2 of us there. So what you may see is that the builders may look to building smaller units. Maybe the big houses will turn into ADUs. There is some movement to build houses with ADUs built in them to help house the children or the elderly, and you're probably going to see that trend economically continue. So the next one, which is more close to home, we'll go to the next slide. As you can see, this graphs the different counties as you go across, and if you look, the only ones that are really anticipated to grow in population is Imperial County, who has very few take that many people for their population to increase. And the other one is us in Riverside, so we're projected to grow. So we will have a larger population. We will probably build out some of those vacant lands out here, but probably not in the madness we've seen over the last 70 years. So that and the reduction in the household size means we're going to need more housing. One of my struggles to the council here is that if I'm going to talk about transportation, if all the regions but us are going to go down in population, a lot of more of these people are going to be retired and not have to commute to work, would be the idea. Then it would seem like Orange County and the metropolitan areas up towards the ocean would probably the freeways they have, which are not great, maybe become adequate for the population that's going to be on the road. So that's a possibility. That's something for our transportation to people to be aware of. We, however, are going to grow. How many people have been on the 15 going south, the 215 going south, or the 15 are going north, right? I mean, it's bad, and we're getting more people most likely. And so my advocate, if I was to be an advocate, which I am, I would say let's get our roads up to par. The inland regions are the coastal regions. I've been there. They have some traffic, but it's not like we do. The 91, the 15, the 215, always kind of a nightmare. And we at RCTC, we got to bring this forward and advocate to get these roads fixed. Because the other thing about the 15 to 215, it isn't the Riverside people driving on the 215. We've got trucks coming from different parts of the country going to San Diego. We got commuters coming down from San Bernardino. We just have a lot of people from outside our area using our freeways. So this is our argument to the Sacramento people that we need some help on our roadways. And we'll go to the last slide. And this is traffic impact. We talked about this. And birth rate decline. This was not on the slides they gave us. This was brought up in the conversations of the meeting. I made the notes right there, so they're probably accurate. So the replacement rate for population is 2.1. So every woman has 2.1 kids, because some women don't have kids and some kids die or pass away. So you're looking at 2.1. That's a constant level. Early projection was 1.43. All right, so we were going to decline in the number of births we were going to have. And the recent projection is 1.27. So we're probably going to have a decline of approximately 40% per generation. So again, significant potential for change coming in our way. And we have two problems. If our population goes down, we think, and how great that is, we'll have more space. But really, remember, we're in competition on a global level. If China, if the other countries like Russia, they have all these people and they have a population that has an industrial base and they can out-industrial compete us, it's not a good thing. There is. I'm not going to say what the right balance of how many people we should have in the United States, but I don't believe in any sense 40% decline per generation is anywhere near where we want to be. So I have a daughter that's now paying child care. Well, won't go into that, but we're watching the kid right now because she's going to work, but child care is coming down the road. That being said, the cost of child care and the motivation for her to go to work are not strong. So as a nation, we may need to look at somehow helping those people that want to go to work, be our industrial base, produce for us, and help them out so we don't have this decline in population. The other choice is immigration, and the United States, for most of us, we don't like rampant, uncontrolled immigration. That's not on anybody's list that I know of. That being said, controlled immigration, bringing in the people that help us become a greater nation, that's something that, to be honest, is going to have to be looked at, because we can't afford the population decline without doing that. I mean, what a great country we have, where you hold the flag out and you say, hey, we want you to apply to come live here. We're going to get PhDs, we're going to get doctors, we're going to get engineers, we're going to get our choice of the universe to come live here. And what we don't want is the people that don't have any level of success in their own country. Just a comment. So that was kind of my presentation on that side. I just wanted everybody to be aware. One more presentation. I got my kindness at, which I have to give the chair from me.
No, I wouldn't do that. You can have it.
Okay.
I'll be kind. You can have it.
So this is basically the RTA kind of marketing story, that when you go on the buses, when you go in the bus stops, please be kind to the strangers and be kind to the bus riders. And that brings us to the next kindness, but we can talk about safety. So basically, when you're on a bus, there's cameras everywhere. So you cannot get away with shooting somebody or stabbing somebody or being a nuisance.
Thank God.
Without it being on cameras. So that's great. You know, sometimes you think, well, that's kind of after the fact. And of course, the major transportation centers, they have cameras. So you have cameras that should make you feel safe. What they've added, which I thought was the coolest thing, what they said was At each seats, there's a code, not RFID, UPC code, or what do we call them now? The
QR code?
QR code, there we are. So you have a QR code. So let's say you're in the back of the bus and somebody's harassing somebody 3 seats in front of you. You take your phone, you hit the QR code, opens up a website, you can type in to the transit authorities, and you can say, this person's being incredibly misbehaving. So the level of safety, because now instead of the camera eye, which was reviewed the next day, right, to find out there's a problem, it's pretty instantaneous, and it's pretty hidden, because you can just pick your phone up and kind of tap away. The transportation systems are modernizing, and they're providing some great benefits. Sorry, I see Chris out there. Chris is the data king for WRCOG, so maybe he could add something, but anyway, that's my comments for today. And
Perfect.
That should do it.
Thank you, Councilmember Welty, and I want to thank Councilmember Mark Terry for giving Dale all that time because he's not going to speak. So, Councilmember Stieber, you're up.
Can we recognize Chris Gray?
Of course, Chris Gray from WRCOG. Thank you for attending our council meeting, my friend. Appreciate you being here.
Executive Director, correct?
Interim Executive Director.
Does a lot of great work for our region. Thank you, Chris.
Councilmember Stieber.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Few of the comments and reports I'd like to go over. Back in March, Mayor Pro Tem and I had our LAUSD articulation meeting. A few things that came out of there was great that I'd like to highlight. On April 24th at Lakeside High School, LAUSD will be hosting their LAUSD Games. It's their Special Olympics, and I'm honored to be able to be a part of the ceremonial matters, and looking forward to that. Also, the Student of the Year dinner is coming up on April 28th. It's an amazing time. I attend the Student of the Month from August or September through April. And now out of 27,000 kids through the school district, only one gets honored that night, so looking forward to that. The school district did advise me to let all the parents know state and local assessments will be happening starting at the end of April, flowing into the middle of May. Got to attend the soft opening of Jenny's Sugar Shack with Councilmember Terry. Pistachio was my favorite. I don't know about yours, but
Butter.
Peanut butter.
Cookie.
So if you haven't attended there yet, please stop by. It's great. Tomorrow, Councilmember Welty and I were invited to get a tour from Southern California Edison's Wildomar facility. So looking for attending that. And also one of our most superiors DAs out there, Mike Hestrin, wanted me to advise that starting next week is National Crime Victims' Rights Week, which on April 23rd at 7 p.m. They are hosting a memorial at the Riverside Historic Courthouse. I'm not going to steal too much of the thunder because I know the nonprofit is here, but also this Thursday at Holiday Harbor is Hope Lights the Nights by Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center. And same, I believe Chief Latendresse will be speaking on about the fire station open house on May 2nd. The last couple items I want to bring up is also the same day as the open house, the Canyon Lake Yacht Club will be having their opening day and blessing of the boats. And again, that's May 2nd. And then Councilmember Welty and I will be attending SCAG's General Assembly May 7th and 8th. So looking forward to that. Also on behalf of Mayor and I want to thank staff for a great review of the budget last week and appreciate the time and answers we received for some of our questions. And lastly, prior to our next council meeting, I would like to wish all the mothers a happy early Mother's Day. That concludes my message, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
I just want to say hi. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This is an important meeting. Oh, sorry. This is an important meeting, and I know that the schedule it was different. So to those of you who made it out on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, thank you so much. Like Councilmember Stieber mentioned, we did have a really productive meeting, I thought, with LAUSD, and we have some good things on the horizon. And I'm just excited to be here. I think we're doing important work, and I'm grateful for all my colleagues.
Absolutely great update. 2 plugs for me. We had a big turnout from Canyon Lakers at the county building a few weeks back to talk about the cemetery. So Jeff Bill's here. We actually had quite a few people. Councilmember Terry was there, Mr. Welty was there, former Councilmember Jennifer Dane was there. We had so many different people from the community, and it was a big turnout. Close to 180 people attended, and there was over 60 comments, and I would say that close to half of those were Canyon Lakers. So it's a pretty incredible thing to see the Canyon Lake movement coming all the way down to the county building, which is an hour away, on 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. So it was pretty cool to be at that building with our people. It was awesome. So I just want to say thank you. The good news is that staff made the recommendation to the Planning Commission to continue the item because the applicant is going to now be required to do an environmental study, which is big. That's exactly what we wanted to do. And that's a huge shout out to our city attorney because of the work that was done leading up to that meeting. So it was a big win for our community. So, and then I also want to plug Councilmember Stieber mentioned May 7th is SCAG, but it's also National Day of Prayer. And as always, here in Canyon Lake, this will be the 13th year for National Day of Prayer, and it's going to be happening like it did last year at the Lodge. Very exciting, so looking forward to that, and stand by for more information for that. Other than that, do you want to say anything? Are you good given your time?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on. We're moving on to ceremonial matters. You're up, my friend.
Okay, so probably the reason I gave up my time is I'm just going to try to get through this.
Love
it. Why do I always get this? When I was a kid, I had a next door neighbor named Dorothy Wiggins. And Dorothy had Down syndrome. But she was always just my neighbor. And I grew up playing with her as a young kid. Unfortunately, Dorothy passed, I think, on her 14th. She was 14. But I'm so thankful for that relationship that I had with her. Because as time went on and as you get older and you become more exposed to things on this planet, that was one thing that I always had a very, very big heart for. When I heard about Kylie and Alana, it is incredible what these two young people, out of their own heart, have made the decision to do. And I'm going to read this so I don't screw it up. But they are two outstanding students from the greatest high school on the planet, Temescal Canyon High School, Kylie Wilcox and Alana Thomas. Are you here? Can you please come forward? Hello. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Face them and I'm going to embarrass you. Kylie took the initiative to create something truly special, a cheer team for special education students. She built the program from the ground up, organizing the team, creating routines that fit individual abilities. What started as an idea has already grown into a team of 12 athletes, performing at special education sporting events with even more opportunities ahead. Alana, co-captain of the varsity cheer team, is equally dedicated to making a difference as an ambassador for the Health Academy. She is an ambassador for the Health Academy and a member of the Unified Leadership. She works to promote inclusion and connection across the campus. Together, Kylie and Alana have created more than just a team. They have created a space where students feel welcome, included, empowered, so that they can thrive. Congratulations. What gave you the, whoa. do you remember that one moment where you just said, this is something I want to do?
I've done cheer since I was 4, and I've known special needs since I was in elementary school. And multiple students have tried out for cheer at my middle school and high school, and they were not able to make the team. So I wanted to make a space where they could enjoy cheer the same way I did.
Wow. So, a little bit of compassion over what you experienced decided you to move forward with this. That is awesome. How about you?
When I heard that we were going to start a cheer team, I was really excited to bring this together because I know how much I love cheer and I wanted to bring the experience to the whole class and everyone who wanted to participate, and it just made me feel really happy to be able to bring together a team.
Heck yeah.
So you're both already on cheer, correct?
Yes.
So where do you find the time to do this?
We take time.
You sound like Mayor Pro Tem Castillo.
We take time during our 4th period class, which is Unified Leadership, which is a class with half special needs students and half gen ed. And we take time during that class to learn, and then we also use lunch and tie-in time as well.
Wow.
What's your favorite part of it?
I just love seeing the girls be excited to perform the cheers for the school at pep rallies, at games, and just seeing the smiles on their face really warms my heart.
Love it.
Give it up. Alana, this is for you. Kylie, this is for you. I cannot tell you how this entire council is so very proud of the example for our youth that you're demonstrating here today. You know, we often think, oh, the world is doomed. Not as long as we have outstanding people like you. Thank you so much for creating that space, okay? Can we take a picture? Mind? Everyone up?
Yeah, of course.
Great. You feel good? Congratulations. You may want to thank you.
Yeah. Good job, Mark. That was a good one. Tearjerker, literally.
They're all good ones.
Literally, tearjerker. All right, we're moving on now to presentations. I don't believe Darcy Burke is joining us, right? We do have Vice President Jeff Bill from the POA. Sorry, Jeff, we have not extended the microphone. It is still very short for you. Yeah. Sorry, my friend.
It's really been a slow month over the POA this past month. We haven't passed a lot of rules, we haven't made a lot of changes, but we do have a lot of events coming up. So I'm going to bore you with our schedule. May 23rd, Fiesta Day, will be a nice day of parades. It's the 250th anniversary of our country, just for those of you that didn't know that. So we'll be doing a few extra things that you'll get to see if you show up. That's going to be on Saturday the 23rd, but on Sunday the 24th is our Canyon Lake Country Fest. And if you didn't make it last year, you should really go this year. This year we're going to have Brian White, Dina Carter, David Cook, and Colin Ray. Yes, I had to read the names. I don't listen to country music. They will be there. These are top performers. You'll recognize the songs if you look them up. So coming up on April 26th is a community garage sale. If you need to get rid of a bunch of stuff, it's a great place to be where you don't have to have a permit like you do the rest of the year. Important stuff coming up. April 25th is our e-bike education and safety fair. The announcements are going out tonight. At this event, we're going to learn about etiquette, best practices, getting out in traffic and trying not to get hit, trying to obey the rules. There's going to be obstacle courses, prizes, giveaways, and hopefully, I know we're working on it, but I don't know if there's going to be a Canyon Lake police car available, but I know we've been talking to you guys, so hopefully we'll have one by then. I know it's cutting it close, so hopefully we'll have that there. The Yacht Club was already mentioned, opening day, blessing of the boats, Saturday, May 2nd. Hope Lights the Night is coming up really soon. I know Josh mentioned that, but I wanted to give that a special shout out because that's really a nice event. To anybody who's lost a loved one to cancer, it's really just a nice place to be. And that's this Thursday from 4 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. And of course, we already mentioned the National Day of Prayer, May 7th. Looking forward to that, and I'm hoping to see all of you there. So the next thing is to touch on what you had mentioned, Mayor, the April 1st meeting at Riverside County. I know a lot of people attended, but a lot of people weren't able to attend. We've been receiving emails and calls from those that couldn't make it. So on Thursday, April 23rd, at the Senior Center from 6 to 7:30, we're going to have a meeting. This is not a POA meeting. This is the Save Our Lakes group. Going to have a meeting just for informational updates, any Q&A for anybody who wants to come in there. And yes, we did push the issue with the EIR, and hopefully that takes us where we want to be. But this fight is not over. So don't forget about this. This might take a year, 2, 3 years. It's not over. So we just come on to our meeting, April 23rd, 6 to 7:30 at the Senior Center, and we'll give you the updates. And also this weekend, I hope to have the link to the meeting video posted on the Save Our Lakes website, so if anyone wants to see it for themselves. So that's about all I got, unless you have any questions.
Good job. Any questions for the POA? We good?
All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate
Thanks.
you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for letting me.
Of course. Johnny, you're up. Chamber of Commerce. You guys have been busy. You let him get away with that?
Yeah.
Come on, Prez.
All right. Mayor Smith, Mayor Pro Tem Castillo, City Council members, City staff, and all the beautiful commerce out there. I have 3 items. First, I attended the Student of the Month this past week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Stieber, for giving me that opportunity. On the way home, my wife asked how that went. I said, I met some great people, cried. Met some great students, cried. Made some great connections, cried. It is amazing. Exactly. It was absolutely amazing. I am honored and privileged to be able to attend those. I just don't know if my heart can handle it. But I look forward to it. It was an incredible experience. So I want to thank you for that. Second, we updated our after-hours mixer name to Canyon Lake Connect. I think it was a little bit more fitting of a title and name for our after-hours mixer. And then lastly, tomorrow we will be launching our Canyon Lake Chamber Advantage. It is a member-to-member experience for members to pass on discounts, referrals. It's a little bit different than most. One of the unique aspects of that is the ability for the member themselves to go on and create their own referral or discount. So they have the opportunity to do that. They don't have to wait for us to approve it. We will monitor it, but it's really a nice experience to give the opportunity for people in Canyon Lake and members that if they're searching for somebody to do something for them or some jobs, that they search the Canyon Lake Chamber Advantage before going outside the city. I think it's important. So we're looking forward to launching that. That'll be tomorrow. I'll be posting that. And then I'll leave it up to Rick to let you know what events we're having.
All right. Well, thank you. Hi, good evening. I'm Rick Tobin, the Vice President and Director of Events. First off, I'd like to publicly thank Aaron Ryder at Pepe's. We had a speed networking event there last night with the Menifee Chamber and Lake Elsinore Chamber, and they do such a fantastic job there. So we love hosting events at Pepe's. So thank you to Aaron and her staff. Also like to announce the Business of the Month, PNC Bank, right here. Gina Spratt. I walk around the center handing out flyers, and I've met everyone several times. Gina's my favorite person. She's so enthusiastic, and we just asked her to be an ambassador for the Chamber, so we're honored now to have Gina Spratt be an ambassador for the Chamber. So PNC is the Business of the Month, and I want to talk about some upcoming events, specifically 1 week from tonight, the Taco Tuesday Golf Mixer at the Golf Club. We did it once before, kind of in a test run format. We figured out what works, what doesn't, and now we've enhanced it. We're going to have Pat Kimball, the head pro. So first off, we're going to have all 15 tee boxes. Pat Kimball, the head pro, and I think Theo, his main assistant, Going to be out there giving free lessons. The putting green right adjacent, they put out little shrubs and sand traps. We have putting contests. We'll have a lot of sponsor booths there. We're going to have our own private bar set up for the first time. They're going to bring out all the tacos and other food out. We're going to have music playing, and it's free. We like to host a lot of events that are free for our members and for people in the community, thanks to the sponsors. So that's next Tuesday, 5 to 7. And then later in the month, at the golf club on the patio, PNC Bank again is doing a presentation. They're going to serve appetizers. Gina Spratt's going to do the presentation. Again, that'll be 5:30 to 7, outdoor patio on April 30th. And then Cinco de Mayo this year falls on Taco Tuesday. So appropriately, we're doing Taco Tuesday again at the golf club. And then lastly, we're finalizing the land cruise we're doing. We're going to have 1 or 2 buses leave from here, going to Shoreline Yacht Club. We're doing it with Canyon Lake Yacht Club. We're finalizing the prices. We're trying to make it as affordable as possible, but we think it may be as low as $50, and that'll be a round-trip ticket, a gourmet food, and a lot of mimosas and coffee and iced tea. So look for that link coming up. But thank you for your time, and have a good evening.
Rick, Johnny, we appreciate you guys so much. Seriously, all that you do. It's so fun doing these ribbon cuttings with you guys. You guys got it down pat, so appreciate you guys so much. Keep it up.
Thank you for your help.
Any questions for them before they take off? Everyone good? Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Moving on, we got the nonprofit spotlight. Councilmember Stieber, this one is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Love to introduce my good friend, Amber Berkey, who is now the CEO of Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center.
Congratulations.
I have a whole speech, but I'm not going to steal your thunder. So really, at the end of the day, love for you to talk about your endeavors, how you support our community, and how our community can support you.
Great.
Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor, council members, and city staff for the opportunity to be with you this evening. It is an honor. You're the first city I have spoken to in my new role as CEO, so thank you very much for the gracious welcome.
We're the first ones, and you got the whole title
First
thing right
ones.
and everything. I mean, you're a pro. You've been watching videos, I know. Even acknowledged staff. Good job.
Thank you. Kim Garish, our executive director, did retire after 23 years. She's still with us for a few more weeks during the transition. She will be with us at Hope Lights Tonight on Thursday, so I hope that you can join us and just say thank you for her many years of service to the Valley and bringing cancer care resources here. Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center is the only cancer resource center that serves our local area. We provide service to just about 6,000 individual clients each year, and I'll get into how we do that and who we serve. But our vision is that no one should face cancer alone, and that includes family members, caregivers, children. We do serve men, women, and children. Expanded to all cancers in 2018 after serving for just breast cancer for the first 18 years of our existence. Our mission is to empower individuals and families through education and support services, and I'll go through how we do that as well. Go to the next slide. Just sharing some of the demographics. These do match national trends that we see as well. Because we started serving breast cancer only. Breast cancer is still the #1 cancer that we see walk through our doors. It is also, again, following trends that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. So my first call to action for everyone in this room is to be your best advocate. And if you feel that something is not right with your health, that you speak up and find a doctor who will listen and continue to listen and help you. We hear countless times a day from our clients that they knew something was wrong and they were dismissed, not just once, but multiple times until they were properly diagnosed. So be your best advocate. You'll notice the client ages. We are still seeing most of our clients in that 60 to 69-year-old age range, but we are noticing an increase in the 30 and 40-year-old age range as well. We've seen specifically colon cancer increase in those age ranges. Could all speculate onto the reasons why, but again, make sure that you are getting your preventive screenings done and stay on top of your health care. Next slide, please. Our programs and services are all offered at no cost to all of our clients, always, and that will never change. Our programs and services include all of the things that are listed there. I do want to just make a couple of notes. There is a difference between our behavioral health program and our peer-led support groups. We do offer both. We have 6 postgraduate interns who provide our behavioral health services, again at no cost. We added this about 3 years ago because our clients were telling us that behavioral health therapists were so impacted, the wait lists were long, and when they find themselves newly diagnosed and in crisis mode, they cannot wait for care. So we brought those services in-house and are now providing them. That program continues to grow year over year. We also have revamped our educational seminars that are open to the public. We have anything from Cancer 101 through pain and neuropathy, anything that we can provide that will help educate not only our clients, but the community at large on what living with cancer, being diagnosed, is actually like. And our patient navigation, which is displayed on this slide, is our largest program. We have 3 navigators. 2 are bilingual. They speak English and Spanish. And our navigators are really like case management. So when a client comes to us, of course, we take all of their information, their medical information, but we go beyond the medical because we know that their ability to be well goes beyond just their medical care and includes all of these things: housing, food, transportation, access to care, insurance coverage. So our navigators spend time with the clients understanding their needs as a whole person, including their medical needs. They also take them through a self-sufficiency matrix. So they are screened when they first come in, not only for these needs, but how they are feeling emotionally, mentally, and then they connect them to resources internally. If we are not able to offer something within our 4 walls, we have many community partners that we can do a warm handoff with to provide some of these resources as well. We also have access to partners who provide direct funding to the families if they need rental assistance or a mortgage paid or something like that. We have those resources as well. I always get this question: how are we funded? We are funded in 3 primary buckets. You'll see up there our fundraising events, of which Hope Lights the Night is one. Our grant funding, which is local and regional, as well as foundational, and then our general donations, which are straight donations from both individuals and corporations, but not tied to a fundraising sponsorship. This year, our operating budget is scheduled for $1.6 million. It's our largest to date in the history of the organization, because we see the need continuing to grow significantly in this region. Our valley does not have comprehensive cancer care resources. Kim has fought the fight for 23 years to continue to bring oncology here to the valley, but we find that most of our clients continue to travel to LA, Orange County, or San Diego for care at the major cancer centers. So we are always advocating with our elected officials, with our hospitals, to bring additional resources here to the valley, and we'll continue doing that. Next slide. We have, at our last count, about 160 volunteers. So we have so many of our clients who, when they are finished with treatment or feeling well enough, sign up to volunteer to give back to the community. This is anything from serving at our front desk, answering phone calls, following up with clients on their paperwork or needs, to outreach events. We attended over 71 community outreach events last year. That's street fairs, chamber events, mixers. We host some of our own, not only to spread awareness, but really to connect with people, even if it's one person at an event, to connect them to our resources. Next slide. And then these are our fundraising events for this year. I love how well known Hope Lights the Night is. Thank you, everybody. We look forward to being with you on Thursday evening. This will be our third year here in Canyon Lake, and this event really is to honor, celebrate, and remember our loved ones who have been impacted by cancer. I encourage you to come out. It's a free community event. We will have live music and food trucks, and you can bring your own picnic if you would like. But I would be shocked if there was anyone in this room who does not know someone who has been impacted by cancer. So we're just a community that comes together to support each other. And to be out here in Canyon Lake, we're actually drawing a lot of new folks from northern cities as well, Corona and farther, who are coming to this event. So as far as support goes, you saw how we were funded, so we were always looking for donations and sponsors from our community members and from our businesses who are looking to align with Cancer Care Resources. We are always in need of volunteers, I would say especially up here in Canyon Lake, in Corona, in Moreno Valley. We have a lot of clients that come from this area, and so we're looking to reach farther and farther beyond Temecula, where we are headquartered. And then just sharing. You never know when you will meet someone who needs our resources, so please connect them with us. You can reach me. Josh knows how to reach me. Councilmember Stieber knows how to reach me, and we would love to assist where we can. Thank you.
Awesome. Way to go. You guys do a lot. And to think you're now taking over the largest budget you all ever had. Just right in time. Did she do that on purpose? Was she just like, here you go?
Probably.
Yeah. Makes sense. Councilmember Stieber, thank you for bringing that spotlight forward. That one's incredible.
Oh, no, thank you. And looking forward to joining them on Thursday.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to some business, public comments. Madam Clerk.
We have 2 public comments tonight. Renee Griffiths.
Good evening, Renee. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Good evening, City Council. I'm here to highlight the workload and pay disparities between paramedic firefighters, police officers, and code enforcement. I brought this up before, so I've revised some numbers. City Council has set hourly wages for code enforcement at $37.37 an hour. This is for Step C. Police, which is safety, $37.15, and firefighters only $25.25 an hour, and that includes FSLA, which is for the overtime. The explanation that I've received has been to keep annual pay roughly the same, and on paper, that looks good. But similar pay comes out very different in cost. Firefighters have to work 2,880 hours. Police, 1,872. Code enforcement, 2,080. Firefighters are working hundreds of hours more just to keep up with the others. The gap equals police officers working 1,000 hours less per year than firefighters. Code enforcement working 800 hours less per year than firefighters. To make the workload equal, and to put it a different way, police would need to work 7 extra shifts every single month for free. Code enforcement would need to work 6 extra shifts every month for free. That's a trade-off for similar pay. Looking at the budget for 2024-25 actual, and then the proposed budget that you'll be working on, there's surplus in the hundreds of thousands when we just look at fire tax revenue and EMS subscription fee revenue. I'm not including the UUT, even though that's primarily for safety, but hundreds of thousands of surplus. And that's before, okay, so, sorry, I had a slideshow, but I couldn't do that. So in reality, there is enough money. Firefighters are not underpaid because the city can't afford it. They're underpaid because they are being treated as a cost to control, not a priority. In April's monthly newsletter that came out today, city manager emphasized that there was an analysis that showed Canyon Lake's fire model as highly cost-effective, especially compared to neighboring cities. Calling Canyon Lake's model cost-effective is accurate, but it's only cost-effective because the firefighters are doing more work for less pay. That's not efficiency, that's exploitation. So with that, my question, just for you guys to consider as you're going over all the budgets. And again, I didn't include the UUT, which in 2024 was 1.3 million and change, and is expected to be about 950 this year. I'm curious, how does the council justify the continued gap between workload and compensation? And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Renee.
All right,
Thank you
thanks.
for your comments.
Donna Ritchie.
Good evening, council and city staff. I just want to take a minute to remind the community that Canyon Lake's 13th Annual National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 7th at the Lodge Patio. The event begins with complimentary refreshments at 9:30 a.m., followed by the program from 10 to 11:15 a.m. This event includes musical performances and guest speakers, including leaders from the city, the POA, even a Wildemar council member, and members of the Canyon Lake Fire Department, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, local churches, organizations, and residents. National Day of Prayer is a patriotic event that brings together the community for a morning of gratitude and unity, encouraging residents to pause, reflect, and focus on positive intentions like peace, safety, and support for others. Mayor Smith, who co-chairs the event, will be out of town this year and is unable to MC the event as he does every year, but I want to thank Councilmember Mark Terry for stepping up to serve in his place. In case anybody forgets the dates and times, it'll all be listed on the Canyon Lake Insider Facebook and the Canyon Lake Insider website.
Thank you.
Mayor, we have no additional speakers.
All right, thank you for that update. Moving right along to our consent calendar. Would anyone like to pull any items?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 1 for conversation.
Claims and demands?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Any other items by my colleagues? Going once, going twice, seeing none. I need a motion on the remaining balance, which and 4.
I motion.
Second.
We got a motion from Councilmember Terry and a second from Mayor Pro Tem. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call on this?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber.
Aye.
Councilmember Terry.
Aye.
Councilmember Welty.
Aye.
Mayor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Councilmember Stieber, claims and demands.
Thank you, sir. Want to talk about one of the line items on page 10. It's kind of a little mind boggled on it and had a concern that, we're paying almost 1/3 of the total scholarship cost. We're on a tight budget, and if we had that money to pay for advertisement, I would have loved to seen the $450 be added to the essay contest to be able to go to successful students that want to continue their education. I've seen, since being on this council, staff has done a great job building their platform, the city's platform up, and they did a great job promoting the essay contest on the website. I've even noticed that others have shared from the city's page. Even our own lovely supervisor, Karen Spiegel, I noticed she promoted our essay contest on her county website. So I'm kind of confused, why are we paying for advertisement when we have really internal resources and help within the city and region who want to promote our city without being compensated?
Thank you, Councilmember Stieber. Mr. Aaron Brown, do you want to address?
If the council wanted to give direction not to advertise, and we could certainly do that. This is what we have done in the past. There's been no reason to think that we would discontinue that process. Specifically, if the council could provide direction on if they want us to not advertise with Donna Ritchie, I would appreciate that direction.
My suggestion would be, love to still see advertised, but with zero compensation. I think we have a lot of individuals, groups, even city leaders within our community that would be more than happy and honored to promote our city's endeavors and events without being compensated.
Please, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Councilmember Stieber. I think those people do. I mean, I know that I'm sharing that on the different pages, but I'm also sharing the articles that are written by the Insider about our scholarships. And, you know, sometimes I don't think it's seniors, it's high school seniors that we're advertising this to. And, you know, they may not be looking at the Canyon Lake City website, but their parents may read the Insider and then say, hey, daughter or son, why don't you apply for this? I don't want anyone to not have the opportunity because they missed my Instagram post or the city's Instagram post. So I feel like as much publicity, and we're doing good things here, I don't know why we wouldn't want to get that word out. I don't have an issue with, I think, $450 for something important that is meaningful for a high school senior. I don't care who we're paying it to. I think we should pay it.
Madam Mayor, no disrespect, but would you have rather seen almost $2,000 in scholarships going to a couple seniors than 1/3 of it going to advertisement?
Well, but here's the thing. Those students all apply by virtue of writing essays. So the individual who gets the scholarship gets it because of their essay. So I think that if we miss out on a really good essay because we didn't get the word out, I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose.
Then do we have any stats or a report on actually the clicks we're getting from that specific advertisement by the website owner?
We do not, but we have not requested them. Again, that is something with
What other options do we have for advertisement? I mean, the Press Enterprise is not happening.
So
I know everything's now digital. I know that, you know, local jurisdictions, and we've had this conversation before, social media has taken over most of our advertisement needs. And just like they do in Menifee with Menifee 24/7, they also advertise certain notices and things that are happening. So my question is, what other options do we have for advertisement here in Canyon Lake? Because I know we're limited.
in terms of comparison, there aren't other.
You're not putting time on yourself, Mr. City Manager.
That's my reminder to leave work.
Nice.
There are not other options in comparison. So when you're dealing with social media, you're dealing with reach and impressions, and if you compare any of the surrounding areas to what you get from Canyon Lake or Canyon Lake Insider, it's tremendously impressive, the amount of reach and impressions that the Canyon Lake Insider gets. So there isn't, and that's been a question that's been asked to me several times, there is not a comparable item that we could go to where we could say, here's Company A. Mm-hmm. And I've been referred by the council member to another place that it was apples to oranges. So we've always advertised because that is where that presence is. And the idea is you're going to advertise where the people are so that you can bring what you're trying to get to them. You don't fixate your social media to try to get to where they are, because they're not coming to you because you don't offer the same attraction, if you will. So there is not a comparison. That's why I said I really need direction, because this has been repeated several times. Do we not want, if the council gives direction, not want advertisement at all, or specifically this advertisement, because that's what it seems to be.
I think even Councilmember Siebel will agree that there's not very many options. My question, if we're looking at, the Insider as a partner or not, have they been a partner? I know that when you deal with, in the old days, with other, whether it's digital, Press Enterprise, The Sun, they've always given discounts, or they've done free promos for municipalities, for public entities. Are we getting that same type of benefit working with that group or not? Or are we paying full vote? Do you know how that works?
We do, and Maddie can speak on that a little more, but there's often times where we would pay for a certain amount of time, and the Canyon Lake Insider would say, I'll give you this amount additional because you're the city. That's happened on numerous occasions. I don't know if you've got specifics, Maddie, but I know that happens frequently.
Council member, Maddie, go ahead.
I would like to know, just any time working with Donna, she does give us those chances to extend our advertisement at no charge, and often runs charging us, like right now she has the community cleanup, which we have not paid.
Oh, that's my favorite event. Maybe that's why you said it. Councilmember Terry?
How many applicants did we have this year?
We had 5 applicants.
Wow.
5 applicants. Okay.
I mean, maybe Councilmember Stieber is bringing a good point in regards to, we unfortunately should probably get away with the entire program then if we're not getting the applicants that we need to make the program worthwhile. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I think our essay writing program is pretty phenomenal, that we're getting people engaged and involved in a community with AI and ChatGPT and so many other tools out there. In my opinion, it's difficult to get people to conduct themselves in this type of essay program. So I'm excited that we at least have some. I know in years past, before we did any advertisement at all, and Mayor Pro Tem, you remember this, because we would get this update, we'd be like, oh no, we don't have any applicants and it's due in 2 weeks. So we would extend it again, and we would extend it again. And finally, now that we've started doing some advertisement, it's exciting to see that we're getting some student engagement. And I think my colleagues would agree that this is how this works, right? The more people you can get involved, the more advertisement you can do, the more word of mouth, then there's an opportunity for parents to be like, hey, we're going to apply next year. Your neighbor got it. We're going to apply this year because you have a gift, you have a talent, whatever that might be. And I think, if we're not, in order to double down, if you must, to make this successful, because it already is compared to years past, I think a lot of that has to do with outreach. I think that a lot has to do with the work that you're doing. Maddie, we appreciate the social media component that you've added to the city. I think we're doing all the right things here. And from the numbers that has been brought up by Councilmember Stieber, I'm actually, kind of surprised that it's as cheap as it is to do the advertisement. That's just my opinion. But we don't really have an option, is what I'm hearing tonight.
I do believe we have an option, and as you said, and I think we all agree, Maddie has done a terrific job getting our city platforms up. And I've heard a word used multiple times now through this, and so I might be a little misunderstood. I thought we were paying advertising strictly just for the website for all to go. But you both used the word social media tonight, which we are now stating that we're going to use taxpayer dollars that we have known that are censored on those social media pages. So I'm kind of a little confused. If we're focused on just the advertising on the website, I agree, and I think that our city has the same advertisement, just like our county supervisor also has our same flyers and promotes it for free on us. If we're doing it just strictly for social media, then why aren't we leveraging our city platform across all the pages that have also 4, 5, 6, 7+ thousand on each page, who are also probably following other pages as well?
I think you're confused, Josh, because the community, the City of Canyon Lake shares on the uncensored page. It individually shares on the super official and the other official and the quasi-official and all those other
Thank you, Maddie, for following
groups.
all of those pages.
It's shared, but it's also shared on the Insider. And I think that's what we're talking about when we're saying social media. We're using, I see it on the other pages for free. I share it on mine. Mark Terry's our influencer. He shares everything every day. I mean,
and that's to get 5.
And that's to get 5. And those 5 are always so impressive that it's very hard to even choose one of those people to give the award to.
I would equally argue, I would argue that for the $450, we probably wouldn't get 5. It's just my opinion.
I say we test it.
Well, we can discuss that next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I would argue that the reach, the fact that we're not just reaching, that is dirt cheap for the audience that we're reaching. And I think that maybe in a future meeting, we actually dig deep into these numbers, because I think they're a little bit more impressive than we think in regards to the reach, The fact that whether you like the insider or not, it's where you're going to get your information. At the end of the day, that's where you're going to get information on what's going on in our community. And that is extremely specific. And I don't think we get 5.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, if we're really going to talk about the item, I don't think it's, is it worth doing the entire program? I mean, I think it is, because I can sit here as one of the few who've been here and seen this program where we had 0 applicants.
No, we're always going to do this program.
Yes, I think it's great.
But we've also given that information at our articulation meeting. We send it to all of the schools that service Canyon Lake seniors. We had that conversation at the meeting about how, when Lake Elsinore has specific things to Lake Elsinore, they broadcast that in Peach Jar. They do the same thing with Canyon Lake specific, because you have to be a Canyon Lake senior to even enter our thing. So the school district is putting it out, and we're still at, low numbers. So all of us are sharing, the city is sharing, the school districts are sharing. I just don't see, like, $450. When my kids are seniors, I would like to know if there's an opportunity to get money for them for books or whatever.
I agree.
Yeah, and again, to reiterate, my concern was 1/3 of it's going to advertisement when I would have loved to seen 2,000 of it going strictly to scholarship.
We have discretionary funds to do that, don't we?
You do indeed.
Well, can I allot mine to advertising?
Absolutely. It would be for advertising specifically for the essay contest. So that would make it part of the essay contest.
I would actually, if I'm going to do that, I'll do it for advertising for city events throughout the year, because we'll want it for Pumpkin Bash, we'll want it for the community cleanup, we'll want it for elections or whatever else. I don't want Councilmember Stieber to have concerns that we're taking from something. I would rather just alleviate that for you.
Then would you be open to other owners of their pages and websites be compensated as well?
If they are advertising, but I don't know of another page that actually has paid advertising. Do you?
That's my point. Everyone does it kindly out of their heart to want to promote our city, so why are we having to pay one individual to promote our city?
I don't think anyone else is promoting our city. I think the city shares in those pages. I don't see anyone else other than maybe Mark and myself sharing those events in the groups.
And then there's other community members that are resharing our city post as well, and it just keeps flowing and flowing. But I would be interested if, which I don't know, you might be able to dig into it a little more on, out of our 5 applicants, were they clicks from that specific website, or how did they learn? And maybe we interview those 5. How did they learn and know about the essay contest? Sorry,
Council, I'm concerned just in general, and I want to make that Councilmember Stieber and I have had numerous conversations about this, where he has flat out told me he does not want to advertise with Donna Ritchie. And we're now doing something where we're looking at additional staff time to be able to support a single council member's desire to not advertise, not just advertise in general, but not advertise specifically with Donna Ritchie and the Canyon Lake Insider. And I feel like we're getting into a spot where I'm not comfortable being. So I think if this is something that the council member would want to agendize, and at a later meeting, agendize the council deciding not to advertise specifically with this one vendor, whether it's for the censorship or the reasons you have, I would feel much more comfortable doing that, and how allowing the city attorney and not have the assistant city attorney sit in on that, allow him to navigate that properly, because this entire conversation right now is making me nervous.
And city manager, I never stated I wouldn't want any advertisement. It was compensated advertisement, and I truly do appreciate that that website is advertising for free our cleanup day. So I would love to see more of that through people in our community that want to advertise our city events without having to be compensated.
I appreciate that, Councilman. I should have said, you said no paid advertisement.
Correct.
Thank you for the recommendation, Mr. City Manager. I don't believe that, I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, colleagues, but I don't think there'll be a second on that idea to move forward with that unless I'm completely out of line here. But I think this council, for the majority, is very now educated to find out that our advertising budget is as low as it is for what we're getting, in my opinion. At least that's what I'm hearing from my colleagues. I don't have any desire to bring this item back for a special conversation at all. I mean, Mayor Pro Tem just made a great suggestion utilizing her resources, so I think that squashes, some of the concerns that Councilmember Stever had. But
If it would be possible, I think it may be a good idea just to take a quick recess to close session, because there are some things I would like to be able to say specific to this item that may help us get past that with the attorney present.
sure, is that
It'll be very quick.
I need a consensus from the council. Are we okay with that?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. We're going to recess into closed session. The time, Madam Clerk, is 6:42.
in here.
Cheryl, we need like hot tea.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just feel like it's.
Do we need a motion?
No, give me a second. I gotta start this meeting. All right, Madam Clerk. We're gonna reconvene at 7:02. We're gonna continue. Nothing to report out, so I'm assuming I don't want to step on. Thank you. With that, we're gonna continue on with. We have one agenda item on the consent calendar that was pulled, which was claims and demands. I need someone to move the item.
A motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Terry and a second from Councilmember Welty. Madam Clerk, can I please get a roll call vote from you?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo? Aye. Councilmember Stieber?
Per the city attorney's advice, I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Councilmember Terry?
Aye.
Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Madam Clerk, don't be mad at me. We are gonna go ahead and take let's do item 8. We're gonna put it up top. Does that work? We have any public comments on this item?
Mayor, we do not.
All right, Mr. City Manager, take this one away.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. This item is to amend our sign ordinance. As it stands right now, each individual business is entitled to what would be a monument sign and a building sign. What was not considered was in the event that you could not do a monument sign, this provides an alternative. If you could not provide a monument sign, you can do 2 signs on your business, and those are the changes included. I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Pretty simple.
Just a basic question. We are authorizing this move, but that doesn't necessarily excuse them from having to go, say, to the Merchants Association or the HOA for any approvals they may require.
Not just that, but still requires same city permits and that whole process. This, because it is our portion of our sign ordinance, this prevented it from even happening at all. This would allow it to go through its normal processes.
Perfect. Any other questions from my colleagues? Madam Clerk said there's no public comments. I do need a motion.
Moved.
I'll second the item. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber?
Aye.
Councilmember Terry?
Aye.
Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'm going to resume back to public hearing number 5, Madam Clerk. Thank you for allowing me to bounce around the agenda. I appreciate it. All right, this is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 274, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Canyon Lake, repeating ordinance number 252, adding chapter 3.48, Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee Program. I'm going to announce the time. The public hearing is now open at 7:05. This one's going to be presented by our city manager.
Thank you again, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. This is a bit of a housekeeping item for the TUMF ordinance for Western Riverside Council of Governments. This item is adopted by each city that is a member of WRCOG. The process has gone through a recommendation from the Technical Advisory Committee, which is predominantly city managers, and then it goes to the Executive Committee, which is elected officials from all over. This is a recommendation from both portions, both committees, and has been adopted by other cities already. So a staff recommendation is that we would adopt this as recommended by WRCOG, and we would have a second reading next meeting, and then it would go into place in June. And I believe it begins for WRCOG July 1st. Thank you, Mayor.
Are there any questions to staff? You mean to tell me he drove all the way out here to hang out with us and we're not going to ask him a single question? Thank you for wearing red. I tried. I'm sorry. Hey, thank you for being with us tonight. Seriously, we appreciate it. Is there any public testimonies, Madam Clerk? All right. No rebuttals. All right, we're going to announce the time and we're going to close the hearing at 7:06. All right, if there's no additional discussion, I need a motion and a second on this one.
Motion.
I'll second.
Perfect. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Castillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Stever.
Aye.
Councilmember Terry.
Aye.
Councilmember Welty.
Aye.
Mayor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I love 2-minute public hearings. Those are always the best ones. All right, moving right along. The big one, business item number 6. This is the presentation discussion of the DRASC fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. Thank you for being here tonight. This is going to be presented by our city manager. Did you bring the popcorn?
This will not be a short one.
No, I know. That's why we started early.
Thank you again, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. As you know, this is, I started 2 years ago in April, so this actually is the third budget I've been able to have a part in. This is very exciting times for a city manager to try to figure out how to put, as they say, the metaphorical 20 pounds of sand into a 10-pound bag. Efficient. It really is, because we have a tremendous staff that is knowledgeable and determined to find a way in each scenario. So I would be remiss if I didn't start out by saying this budget that we'll be presenting really is because of those individuals that oftentimes are doing as an individual what many cities have very large teams doing. So I'm very appreciative of them and of the resources that council allocates to be able to have them. The next thing I want to go into I don't know how to say it better than what a big deal it is that this budget is going to be proposed as a balanced budget, because it is a difficult thing to do with the limited revenue sources that we have. And this council decided in 21 to move forward with a fire department in 22, and then decided last year to move forward with a police department in 26. And so if you go to the next slide, we'll start with the police department versus municipal, and kind of where it all comes in. And I want to say this every time. This is not something where we are saying we've now got a better police department than we have the sheriff. The sheriff's amazing. You've heard me repeatedly say it's the Ferrari. It's the top of the line. We're very fortunate to have the Riverside Sheriff's Office. But we are a special circumstance in the city that we are. Unicorn is the best word that I can use repeatedly for this, because
We think so highly of them. We hired one of their quarterbacks to be our chief.
that 100%, it's everything that we hoped it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to really hit on is because we're a different city that almost doesn't match up with many of the other cities we try to compare ourselves to. That's really why many of these things were possible. What you have here is kind of a whole rundown of the 25, 26, what the sheriff's contract is. When people ask, are you eliminating code enforcement? It's not an elimination of code enforcement. It is moving the code enforcement duties onto CSOs who are going to also do other duties. And it takes us from right now a 4 to 5 day code enforcement to a 7-day code enforcement. That's a big deal for us. It also gives us the ability for those CSOs to almost always be out in the field. I say almost always because they're going to be doing transports and some other things, but they'll be out in the field. They'll be able to put their eyes on things. They'll be able to see and become familiar with things that aren't part of the code enforcement process. They're doing the other duties. So it's also going to drastically change our response times. One of the things that we've struggled with is anytime we have a shift change. Remember, as a sheriff deputy, your home base, if you will, is in Lake Elsinore, and I've got the captain and the former captain, now our chief. It's twice a day is shift change, 12 hours, or okay. So you've got that shift change, which I always kind of paint the picture of, if my shift starts at 7, I'm going to come in, kind of maybe go to briefing, spend a little time at the water cooler, check in with, whoever was there about whatever the other item is. It's not like shift change happens on that dot and then you're going to head your way out here. So there's some drastic changes that happen just by naturally having our own police department. In addition to those drastic changes, we're also going to have what is going to be an approximately $400 and some $1,000 change. I think that's a big deal, because when we look at a budget that has been balanced at times by $50,000, or where we started out, Terry, I believe we started out with this budget almost $600,000 in the red as we started plugging away at what we needed to do. This budget we're presenting to you does not come balanced without a significant savings that you see here from the police department, and then you can skip to the service breakdown, the next slide. The one deputy on, now again, there are numerous deputies available. This is not to say that only one deputy could respond, but one deputy at a time that's here, versus you're going to have a chief, a captain, detective, records clerk in the city Monday through Friday. You're gonna have a sergeant on at all times that's here in our city. The shift change struggle is going to go away, but the best part of all of this is we still have access to the sheriff. We still have mutual aid. We still have our cops. We can go down that line. This is in no way a breakup. It is really where the fundamental pay is going to come, and because of that, we'll be able to have that significant savings. If you go to the next slide for the fire department cost benefit, we're looking at just the 24-25 because that was the model when we did that analysis with another city. That's how we came to that breakdown. As we were discussing numerous aspects of fire with that city, it was, okay, what is the total quote you get? They were turning up a new engine. What is the quote you're getting? What is the amount you're getting from CAL FIRE? You're a contract city just like us for that comparable engine. And that engine represents 9 individuals. There it is, the 9 staff. And that's where we saw that the big number difference. And so if you look at our current year is projected at 2.6, but that 24-25, 2.2 million operating costs. I also want to comment on that the operating cost that you see when you look at a budget is just the specific operating costs of that department. It does not include the administration for that, because that's irrelevant as to whether we have the sheriff right now, and we have moving forward next year we have Canyon Lake Police Department. There's still administrative costs that are there, whether it is a contract agency or it is a local agency. And I'll just use me as an example. The city manager, the way you look at the salary of how your city manager is divided up is you take any one of those agencies, and let's say fire is about 2.6 million and you got a total $10 million budget, that would put it at 26%. You would allocate 26% of your city manager's fully burdened amount towards that department. So again, that's going to exist whether you have a contract agency or you have a local agency. So I just want to comment on that to kind of give some clarity on that. Next slide, please. We've talked about the increased presence, the improved responsiveness, and again, the improved responsiveness is just about where we're at. The sheriff absolutely could provide additional deputies in the event something happens, or the city could pay for multiple deputies instead of having one. But those numbers were astronomical because there's a process to which you go through, and Canyon Lake doesn't fit into the model because the model is not built for our city, and it's not built for we called it a low crime discount. It's built static across all cities and how it would work. So I wanted to make sure that was covered as well. The next slide. This is why I hit on this before Terry goes into the items for the budget. You could be seeing as much as $1.797 million difference if Canyon Lake did not elect to have a city or municipal fire and a municipal police department. So it's very important to make sure that it is well known that this budget that we are proposing to you 100% is because of that decision. Had we not been in that scenario, and this is the amount of money we'd be paying, there aren't enough events to cover $1.7 million. It would be services. We would be drastically cutting services to a point where it would affect things like building and safety. And the reason it's called building and safety is because it does relate to life safety. There would be shortcuts we would have to take. We'd be contracting services out that would not have the level of ownership that they have. So this is a very big deal that we're able to have those level of services. And I really wanted to start the budget with that to make sure that it hit home as to how we could even get here. With that, if I may, Mayor, I'd like to turn it over to Terry Shea, unless there are any questions for me before he begins the budget.
Terry.
Wait for Jeremy to get back.
You didn't say to wait, so
Oh, I promise not to make Council Member Terry cry on this one, so. I may cry. I cried when we first did it, as Aaron said, yeah. So, Your Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Council, glad to be here, and glad the City Manager went through those first few slides. Very relevant. So, this right one. All right. So the proposed general fund revenues are $9,202,730, which is $419,000 over the previous fiscal year amount of $8,763,000. Proposed general fund expenditures are $9,313,000, which is an increase of $688,703 over the previous fiscal year. The proposed budget reflects general fund expenditures over revenues of $110,000. But included in that is $130,000 to outfit the new fire truck, which we're going to take possession this next year, right?
2027.
27. And that money, a couple of years ago, council amended the fund balance policy, and we started putting money away in a restricted reserve for fire equipment. So we're using that money out of the reserve, and that's a good use of reserves where we save money, put it aside for one-time expenditures. And so once we take that $138,000 out, that leaves us with a surplus of just under $20,000. Any questions? All right, so the general fund revenues, these are our major revenues. So property taxes, we're proposing $1,362,000. Fire structure taxes, which also comes on your property tax bill, of $1,650,000. The VLF swap goes back to when the state of California was in trouble and they kind of shifted revenues around. That is also considered a property tax. And then we have sales tax, utility users tax, franchise fees. We got our Edison franchise fee today, so that was great. And it was more than we budgeted, so that's even better. And then other taxes, what's in that other taxes is our property transfer tax. So when you sell a house,
we get a fee from the county, and then the transit occupancy tax from the motel. Then other revenues are a variety, like interest income, miscellaneous income, insurance reimbursement, stuff like that. Any questions on any of these revenues? So property taxes is our largest increase by about 105,000. Assessed values are going up. We did hire a consulting firm that just specializes in property tax all year long, and they kind of helped us with our projections. So it's based on their projections plus what we've got. That property transfer tax, when houses sell, a portion comes back to us. That's 18,000. Fire structure fees, which are also based on assessed value, are going to be higher. The VLF swap is also going to be up, and then we're anticipating an additional 178,000 in fees based on the change in CPI or our current fees, and then some new fees we're going to add this year. Any questions on the increases? We've been averaging about 6% a year growth in property tax year over year for the last 5 years. So this is kind of like our pie here. So our fire structure fee, property taxes, VLF and EMS, those are our largest, plus utility users. You can kind of see it's, you know, it's 90% of our revenues. So. And then this is all the funds. And so the special revenue funds, gas tax is a required fund, and we get when you go to the pump and you pay your price now, which is a little higher. I used to fill up a month ago for $40. Now I got like a half a tank, so $40. So that money is strictly regular gas tax plus the SB1, and that money can only be used for streets and roads. Same thing with Measure A. That money is I think it's a half-cent sales tax or a quarter-cent sales tax. And we get that money from Riverside County Transportation Commission, and that has to be used for streets and roads as well. And then the AQMD trust, that money comes from AQMD. When you register your car, we get a portion of that. And that money is fairly restricted, and the city usually assembles that money for 4 or 5 years, and that's how we bought a lot of our vehicles in the past. And then the law enforcement grant, that's called CalCops, and we're guaranteed $100,000 every year plus inflation. And over the last 9 years, that $100,000 is projected to be $210,000, but the minimum we'd ever get is $100,000. The miscellaneous grants, that was where we had the ARPA money, but there's no ARPA money left. We've spent it all. We're kind of sitting in it. Then the rental fund, that's the 2 buildings that we own plus the rental sign. Any questions on how the other funds work? And then here's our general fund expenditures by category. So we have personnel, and this is just the general government, which includes city council, city attorney, city manager, community development, city clerk, finance. We have a new division this year, HR, which was previously in finance. We broke it out. And then the building and facilities maintenance. A lot of O&M here, $1.8 million. We have some small capital items and then debt service. And here's our developmental services, which is planning, building, public works admin, NPDES, and then you can see no numbers this year for code enforcement. And then public safety. So if you look at our public safety, you know, the police department 2.1 and the fire department 2.6, just a little under 5 million. And so that's where we're at. Any questions on these? So you can see our largest expenditure is public safety, which is 99% of cities in California. That's ours is fairly low compared to some, so because we have no huge PERS debt, which is one of the smartest things the city ever did. So.
Yeah, you said something interesting that I want to bring up again. That, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. City Manager, but I believe when you look at the general funds for most municipalities, we're approaching 58% for most for public safety. What's HIMMT? It's pretty substantial, isn't it?
It is often 75%
Yeah.
for public safety.
Because I know that Hemet, they just passed that sales tax measure, I think it was a cycle ago, because they were in the 80s. They were up to 82, and so they were bleeding, for costs. So, I mean, that's what's so unique about the ability that we have when it comes to public safety is our CalPERS liability isn't there. When you look at those numbers, especially when you look at other cities like Hemet, for instance, it's staggering. It's absolutely staggering. So it's cool to see us in the 50s on it. Am I reading that right?
Some of their CalPERS rates are at 45% per post.
Wow.
Ours is,
Classic.
and we're all Pepper. There's no classics. So,
Yeah.
so that's a
Sorry.
good point, Jeremy.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
Proud
I'll
of
go
that. I
through
know you're not.
each department. Not a lot of change in city council. We did eliminate $11,000. Of that $11,000, $7,500 was for community benefits fund. And so overall decrease in city council budget by just under $2,000. And then city manager's department increase of $38,000 or 37,581. Increase in salaries and benefits, and then an increase in professional specialized services for the lobbyists for $12,000. Most staff that are non-sworn, we have like a 3% cap for inflation. So most for this preliminary budget, because we use March to March, and March to March CPI wasn't available, so everybody's budget's at 3%, but whatever inflation comes in at March, that'll be the rate that we actually use. Community development, which was a new department last year, well run by Maddie and Ruby now. Expenditures increased by 63,000. 16,000, we created a new position, kind of a hybrid position, and it's in this department. It's going to be partially funded by the rental funds because they'll work on maintenance and that. And then a restructuring of the salaries that were from the prior year, and so it's just a $16,000 increase. And then our IT people, we have a new agreement for IT software and support, went up $38,000.
Describe why that hybrid position is so important to us?
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you. The hybrid position will do two things, and I've tried to find somebody else doing this, and I've not been able to find it. So again, I go back to the unicorn analogy. We need two things. We need somebody to perform just day-to-day maintenance on many of our items. I use the example of paying prevailing wage to paint or do drywall, and we need somebody that's able to respond quickly to both our rental locations, but also to City Hall issues, and somebody that is knowledgeable, and frankly, somebody that's not our building official, because the building official has many other things to do, despite the fact that he is a former contractor and quite knowledgeable on those items. Additionally, we need somebody that can back up our building official and perform some of the building inspections, and so what we're doing is creating a position that does both.
Nice.
That does both building inspections and also building and facility maintenance. We're small enough that we don't have enough work on either side for a full-time individual, but we have absolutely enough for a full-time individual that does both.
Let the unicorn search begin?
That is correct.
Okay. It will be a search. It's not.
It will be a search. It'll be something that we will have to cast pretty wide, but I've talked to numerous general contractors who have reached that point where they would be more than happy to do building inspections and the lighter maintenance, because we'll still have contractors. This is not somebody that's going to do all of our plumbing, do all of our electrician. We're still going to have that, but they're going to be the knowledgeable person dealing with those more advanced items, and to provide city benefits and all of that is attractive. So we would require them to meet all of our requirements for the building inspection and get the proper certifications and all that. So we may be looking for a bit of a diamond in the rough, but just as I've talked to people about it, there's been a lot of interest. So I'm quite confident we'll be able to get the right person.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, as the city manager pointed out earlier, we have very small divisions and departments, so one person's doing multiple. So to be able to have a backup for the building is very important, so.
Nice.
All right, any questions on community development?
Mm-mm.
City clerk, expenditures increased by 81,615. 45,000 is for the election coming up, and that's an estimate we kind of get from the county. We probably won't see that bill till June of '27, so they're very slow at billing. And then an increase just under 30,000 in salaries and benefits for a proposed change in staff level. So.
And if I could jump in here, Mayor, one of the things that we're proposing in this budget and requesting from council is I felt like Cheryl Garcia did not have enough duties, so I wanted to add another title, and that is Assistant City Manager on top of the duties that she has. And that's really about succession planning and a clear line within the organization of how things flow. It is very clear that she acts in that number 2 spot, and I wanted to fairly compensate her for that, and also to be able to bring her in on some of the things that she's kind of excluded from right now because she's not at that position.
Did she accept?
I did not give her that option, Mayor. It was
Understood. Well, I know.
No, she absolutely accepted.
I know that you definitely had her, take the helm when you were gone on your vacation, and we want her now and not you, so you did it to yourself.
Done.
Well, there was no issues.
There is no greater compliment.
And she, texts back, calls, she, emails properly. And
it was wonderful. I was on vacation. It didn't call anybody. It was great. She did a wonderful job.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Madam Clerk, I'm sorry.
I've worked with a lot of city clerks over the years. She is good, so. Some don't even get their minutes out for a year and a half, and ours
That is true.
up, so.
That is true.
All right. Any questions on city clerks?
Nope.
All right, so finance, which I always say is the best department, but this year I won't. So we decreased by $81,000. A lot of that is because we moved Kayla to her own division, and so, but we'll take credit for the decrease. So, like I said, staff got a 3% COLA and a 5% merit increase. So we did that at the beginning of the year, but their actual merit increase won't come till their anniversary date with a good review. So there's a little built-in savings in the budget with that. And I said we moved the Human Resources Division out, and we took basically Kayla, and there were several HR-related expenditures also went over to HR. And then that decrease in professional specialized services, which is our firm, and that's coming out of what I usually charge, so I lowered mine. So Aaron wouldn't let me leave the room unless I...
It was negotiated.
Yes. But that's, Wendy's still here helping out the day-to-day and helping train, and so she's a big help, and she lives fairly close to City Hall and spends, every Wednesday here? Yeah, so, and she was former finance director for City of Menifee for years, so she's very knowledgeable.
We won't hold that against her.
And then we have HR, which is the new division. Yeah. We're very lucky to have Kayla.
Yes.
Years ago, Kayla used to work for me when she first started her career.
And then she got smart.
Yeah, I used to drag her down to Rolling Hills, 4 hours in a car with me. It was not pleasant for Kayla, so. But she liked it because then she could carpool.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Might have a lot better, so.
That's a big deal here.
So this position with the additions of the police and fire is getting more and more complicated, and we need somebody dedicated to that. We also increased the city attorney's budget for one of their people to help. So, and we decreased our outside consultant and up the city attorney's budget. Any questions on this? Planning. Expenditures decreased by just under 28,000. 30,000 decrease in general plan service. I mean, eventually we're going to have to do that, but we get a little bit reserves built up. And then we have a new proposed formula. I'm not sure how far along that is for contract planning, so we decrease that by about $2,200. So, because Jim retired, right? Yeah. Building and safety, We lowered each one of the, we have two things. We have our BCA code services. We budgeted quite a bit last year, and we're nowhere near that. So we kind of figured we'd have about a $10,000 savings. And then same thing, staff got a 3% COLA and a 5% merit increase. Some of our staff are at the top step, so all they'll get is the COLA. So law enforcement, I guess the law enforcement decrease was way bigger than ours, so on this one. So, but this is, we budgeted just 1 month of crossover service for the month of July, and that was with the help of the new police chief. So
Nice.
the Canyon Lake Police Department, salaries and benefits of $1,757,000. These were the positions in the schedule approved by City Council back in, was it May, Cheryl, or back in November? Whenever that was approved, the positions, or when was that? But it was approved by City Council for those positions. And then operation and maintenance costs of $636,000.
February we approved the positions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are those positions that came to you.
Perfect.
And then operation and maintenance costs, which includes pretty much everything of running the department. Captain Rouse did a good job putting that together. A lot of
Chief Rouse.
Chief Rouse. Sorry, I demoted you. Sorry.
We made a chief out of him.
Well, that's because he likes the Dodgers, and I just can't handle that. So.
It's called winning.
Well,
That
a couple of years ago when the Cardinals played the Dodgers in that one game playoff, I wasn't watching my phone because I wanted to see it, and he told me the score before the game was over. I'm like,
Nice. Enemy for life.
1-0, wasn't 10. Yeah.
That's good.
And I bought tickets for 8 people to go to that game, and I had 5 items on the agenda tonight. So all the tickets I bought, they were all there, and I was ignoring their phone and ignoring the game, and then he let me know. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and then when we talked about that Cal Cops and the other fund, we've always used it to offset the sheriffs, so this year we'll use it to offset our own police department. Canyon Lake Fire Department increased by $334,000, $133,000 in increase in salary and benefits. Now there's a MOU, and so the firefighters had a certain percentage. I don't remember exactly what it's off of my head. So they got that plus a step increase. Increase in dispatch services of $28,000, and then we also have $166,000 in fire and life safety equipment, of which the $130,000 is from the restricted reserve. So if you took out that $130,000, they're up about $200,000. So.
Chief, did we get an increase last year on dispatch?
Yes, we did. Last year is actually substantially larger than this year. This year it was about 6%, I believe. Last year it was a double-digit increase.
Okay.
Should I turn this one off when he speaks? It makes it echo. Any questions on the fire department? Guys are too easy. Emergency services decreased by $36,000. We got rid of the for County Riverside E&B services and the CERT training. And then Public Works admin, we decreased each one of these by $10,000. Part of our new hybrid position will be doing some of these duties, so that's why we decreased some of these. So, any questions on Public Works admin?
Nope.
NPDES, pretty close to last year. Our TMDL agreement permit and permits went up about $5,200. And then code enforcement, we eliminated that division, but like the city manager said, those duties will be taken up with the police department. Building and facilities, expenditures increased by $342,000. $318,000 is the increase in insurance cost. It's hard to get coverage here in California. We had about $120,000 increase last year, and then this year, an additional $317,000 increase. Part of it, and then we also have increased projections for maintenance for janitorial and electrical and utilities, because now the basement was never nobody was ever down there. So we have more activity, more electricity, more everything, and so those went up as well. So, and then getting too old to see this one. This just compares all the 24-25 actual with the 25-26 budget and then the proposed budget. And so we're down a little, but the big thing is the construction. So the capital projects down there on the bottom, we had the 2 big projects, and that's why those are so much higher. So I think we're all done with big projects now for a while. And then fund balance summary. So I figure we'll start the year at $7,300,000 in the general fund. We'll end up with $7,189,000. That difference is basically the amount we're using from the restricted reserve for the fire truck. Gas tax measure A, those usually build up, and then we usually will use those in multiple sources, like when we redid Rural Canyon Road a few years ago, we used that money plus the TUMF money. And then years ago, we used that money plus we issued debt, but that's been a while. Like I said, the QMD Trust Fund, we're at about the place where probably we'll come mid-year with some suggestions on how to spend that money. Law enforcement grants, that's at CalCops at $210,000. And then the rental fund is, I think all the buildings but 2 offices are all leased out now. And so we should see an increase, plus all of them have long-term rents with inflation in them, so those will be good. And then the capital project funds, we don't have anything budgeted this year in that fund. Questions? I want to thank the whole staff for helping, and when we first presented it, Erin was very calm and everybody took the task, and they all did a great job getting me their information. Cheryl made sure it was all on time and very detailed, and so I really appreciate all their help. So, and Brianna has the tough task of putting it together so we win the award again. So.
That's right.
And they changed the criteria this year, so perfect.
We're prepared. Mayor, if I can jump on with that as well, mentioned this to the staff at the staff meeting this morning, but I really want to compliment each department. Having gone through this many times in my career, a lot of times you get individuals that say, yeah, we need to cut, you do it. And there wasn't a single department that didn't go back, sharpen their pencil, and come back with savings. It says a lot, again, about the individuals that work for this city and their willingness and determination to get here. What we're looking for from this budget, and I forgot to go through the process. So the way this works, we have gone through everything in the budget based on what we believe to be the direction we've gotten from council. We formulate this budget, bring it for this first showing, if you will. We met with each council member in a usually it's a 2x2x1 where you're making sure there's no violation of the Brown Act. You're meeting with individual council members or with a group of council members, just displaying what is there on the budget so they have an intimate knowledge of it. Obviously, they have access once the agenda is posted and it's seen that way, but you meet with council to be able to have all of the department heads in the room to answer any questions. That's what gets us to this budget. We present it for council. We're looking for any direction from council to make any modifications or changes you may see fit, or you may say this is where we wanted it. We want to see it come back as our proposed budget for the May meeting. In the event that council likes it as it is, we would bring it back as it is. If you make recommendations, we will make those changes with an expected adoption of the budget in May, so for the next council meeting. And now we would be happy to take any questions that council may have.
Before we take questions from the council, Madam Clerk, any public comments?
We have one public speaker tonight. You wanna
Perfect.
take that now?
Yes, please.
Renee Griffiths.
Hello again. I understand this is just preliminary, and I appreciate all the presentations. It makes it very easy. So this is what I wanted to state. Okay. This is with budget overrun and transparency. So does the city plan on providing a breakdown of the city events in fiscal year 2024, given that the approved budget was $79,500 and the actual was $151,939, specifically what drove a spending increase of nearly 90% over budget, and were the overages clearly reported and explained to the public. So hopefully that'll be addressed somewhere in conversation. And then the other thing is just to consider, I was looking at the proposed budget, the city events is increasing to $161,300, up from back in 2019-2020 actuals, $15,795. How does the council justify expanding discretionary event spending, particularly on events like State of the City, Pumpkin Bash, and the golf tournament, which is currently budgeted to total $136,600, while simultaneously signaling that residents may need to pay more in taxes for public safety, because that's been mentioned multiple times. The city should demonstrate fiscal restraint by cutting non-essential expenses versus throwing parties with taxpayer dollars. And from my research, I just want you guys to know that it didn't go unnoticed, and I found it interesting that after the EMS subscription fees were adopted and directed into the general fund, the city's event budget didn't just grow, it exploded. It was fourfold the following year, and now we're at 10 times the original, or what it was prior to the EMS subscription fees being approved. And I just wonder if this could be part of the city council's unwillingness to pay the firefighters the same hourly rate as the police officers. Thank you.
Thank you. My colleagues, any questions for staff?
Those questions?
I cannot directly address those
But you can
questions,
answer
but I
my
could answer any questions that you would provide.
Can you please describe to me how it works when it comes to budgeting for events and the process?
Absolutely.
And why it looks the way it does, and educate us on that?
One of the things that I changed when I came in terms of the reporting of the events was looking at the entire expenditure. So the way it was budgeted before was, I'm just going to use round numbers because that way math is easy for me. Say the event costs $100,000, but you would have maybe $40,000 in sponsorships. What the city would budget was $60,000. That is not a true picture of what is spent.
Correct.
So what we're doing is budgeting the entire spend. So now we would budget $100,000, and then in our revenues we would have a revenue of $40,000 for sponsorships. Instead of using the number of what our total impact to the general fund is, we're using what the total cost is. That's not really changed as much as just changing how we report that.
Any questions? Thank you for that clarification.
Absolutely.
I know that was explained to us, but I think it's important that we mention it, publicly, and I think it's a good way to balance it. And we've seen over the years, especially when it comes to the State of the City, I think those dollars have gone up and down depending on the economy and the different sponsorships that we get and the different activities that we're working on. And so it's nice, I'm glad you explained it that way so folks can understand. So, all right, folks, any other questions from my colleagues? Yes, Councilmember
Mr.
Seaver?
Mayor, I have a question and a comment. City Manager, what's our current credit rating?
Do you know our credit rating, Terry? Right, we can certainly get that for you.
Pretty good.
Yes,
I know
it's-
that because
we're setting in an excellent
the amount
spot.
of money that has been offered to us on purchases has been pretty substantial. And when I talk to other entities, I mean, we're small, but it's pretty incredible the type of credit that we've been able to get and through our relationships with the bank and stuff. So it's got to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, we can get that for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And my comment is, I did my 2x2 with Mayor, and again, appreciate yours and staff's time. Everyone did a incredible job and kind of went through it smoothly. One thing that stood out that Mayor and I discussed was a reserve policy. I did question him regarding what's our current status on one, understand our minimums and maximums. And I guess there's not one in place at this time.
We do have a reserve policy. We have, I'll let Terry speak on it. There's a couple of aspects to that, from capital funds to the restricted reserves.
Yeah, the council adopted a reserve policy like 3-4 years ago. We were almost to 90% funded, but
That's
then
right.
we did some projects. So we did this room and then downstairs, and those were a council-specific decision to use those reserves. So, but we do have a reserve policy, and the city clerk could email you one or give it to you too. So,
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm glad the council member Stieber brought it up, because one of the ideas that he had was, maybe in our goal setting or when we're projecting the upcoming year, to kind of look at what a goal would be for reserves in regards to, adding more or not, if we can, if we're taking from. I know that we got up to 90%. It was pretty cool. We were so close to 100, and then we did stuff to try to save more money. But I think it's good to be top of mind to go after it again, especially when we've made some pretty good investments that are really going to pay off, I hope and I pray. But I think it's a good idea that you brought up, just to kind of keep it top of mind, and we have that as part of the budget presentation too. Maybe for next year, like, hey, this is where we're at with the potential of investments and what we could be doing, just like a snapshot like you did this, because this made it so easy to go through each one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'm good, thank you.
Any other questions from my colleagues? Everyone good? This is receive and file, correct?
We're looking for direction on any changes that you would want to see to this. The most drastic of the changes would be the community benefits. You went from the 1,500 individually to 0, just based on the amount that was spent, and so we'll make sure that council was aligned with that, aligned with the other changes. Make sure that the position that we discussed, that council is willing to move forward with that. We haven't done the job description because we wanted to make sure council was good with this. We'll have the job description on the next meeting in the event that council would like to give direction to me as the city manager to bring the budget as seen, with some grammatical corrections and things we can do with less blurry eyes. But that would be the direction we'd be looking for.
If there's not any objection, I'll take, I guess, a recommendation motion that we move forward with what's presented and get ready for the real thing. Anyone up for that? I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. I need a roll call vote.
Mayor Potem Castillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Stieber?
Aye.
Councilmember Terry?
Aye.
Councilmember Welty?
Aye.
Mayor Smith?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Perfect.
We'll bring it back and provide an expedited presentation at the next meeting so that you do not have to sit through this entire presentation once more.
Yeah, I want to, to be honest with you, I actually appreciated my time with Councilmember Stieber, and, the call was weird because the screen didn't work. So I'm blaming you guys on that.
That's fine.
Josh and I were looking at each other like, what's going on here? I can hear you too. But I just want to appreciate that, because I know that this was happening with the rest of our colleagues, and I felt that you answered my questions. I know that you were able to either do homework or answer Josh's, Councilmember Stieber's questions too. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do that with each of us. And so for the general public, why we're not up here just going nuts, because we literally spent about a couple hours each. I think our call was almost 2 hours on the budget. So I just want to say thank you for that. I think that was a good way to do it. All right, moving on. We are on business item 7. This is the first reading of ordinance number 275. Ooh, this one's yours, Mr. City Manager. This is the fun one.
Yes, our city attorney is not here today, so he tagged me in on a couple of these that he is more the expert on. But I know the mayor likes when I tell the story of where this came from.
Yeah.
And what I didn't tell Councilmember Welty was this was Baby Bloom. This was an individual well's daughter, and they were having a birthday party, and the question I asked, they live in the Gates, I said, oh, absolutely want to come. Do you have a permit? And I said, no, I don't have a permit for a birthday party. I said, then I cannot come to the city manager of the city. I'm not going to be at an event that doesn't have a permit. And he looked at me like I was crazy because he needed a permit for his 1-year-old daughter's birthday party. And so brought this.
And then you and your wife high five because you got out of having to go to a birthday.
I mean, we still got the gift there, right? So that's
Fair
the
enough.
important
Is this the
part.
new trick that we need to try in other
It
cities?
is.
Okay.
We will loan you this if you need it. So I came back and talked to individual council members, getting an understanding of where they were. And so we're making the recommendation that we modify this to get out of the residential portion. So residential meaning if this goes on in the normal course of a resident's life, you would not need a permit. This is a birthday party. This is a small church group. This is anything along that line. However, if you're doing something out of the course where maybe you're selling your house out or renting your house out for an event, absolutely you would need to do that and continue on. Any of the other locations that you would hold an event at, those permits stay the same. This is really if you at your residence are holding a party of some kind, we don't need to know about that, and we certainly don't need to go through the process. So that's the change that we're looking to make.
Very easy.
And to be correct, that also includes holidays as well, because I've had quite a few people in my front yard for Halloween and protected myself in the past, but I think when I read the staff report, holidays were included.
Absolutely. So that would be, say you're hosting a charity or something like that on a holiday. No, but if it is, and I've heard of your wonderful setup on Halloween, and you've got people coming just through a normal course of that's where you live, that's your home, and you invest the time and the money into decorating your yard, and people want to come and see it. That's not our business, as I would say. So absolutely, if it's a normal course in your residence, no permit would be needed.
Any other questions? Do we have any public comments on this, Madam Clerk? No, we do not. I need a motion on this item to move it.
All motion.
I'll second.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Tim Castillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Seaver.
Aye.
Councilmember Terry.
Aye.
Councilmember Welty.
Aye.
Mayor Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes.
City Manager, you probably have no comments, right?
Not a one.
You're burnt out. All right, we're moving on. Announcements. Next regular council meeting will be held on May 13th. Lucky 13th. And what do we, of course. Announcement that we have is our open house. I'll let you do it. No, I'll let the chief do it. Chief, you bring up the open house, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Staff, Jeff Lieutenant, your Fire Chief. And we just want to formally and cordially invite you to our 4th annual open house at the fire station. It'll be held May 2nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to have, obviously, the clams there doing their traditional cooking of the brats. We'll have the fire department. Hopefully by then the police chief will have his new police cars there on display. We'll have our CERT team. We're going to have a face painter. We're going to have a balloon artist. We're going to have Sparky the fire dog.
Nice.
AMR will be out there. There'll be some live demonstrations by our firefighters. If you've been there before, it's a great event, and we hope we get to see you there.
Love it. What's that? Excited. Thank you so much. With that, we're going to close out the meeting at 8 o'clock exactly, Madam Clerk. Thank you, everyone.